I am going to bring this into Second Life. Textures are cool, but they're not combined. You'd have to do it separately. You can see the names of the textures though, where you can combine the ones for the legs and whatever. There's not that many surfaces that are required, so you can material the various areas and apply the diffuse textures and possibly the others. Major ones there, the shine or specular. Anyway, this one turned out to be a challenge, and the reason why is because it doesn't have a skeleton. It's object animated, but I worked out a solution here. We have one for this already, but the animation was too long, and the splitter that I made, that's in the bulk animation exporter, wasn't doing the job that I wanted it to do. So I had to rewrite one and put it in the main animation exporter, and also it wouldn't export a retargeted animation where there was no actual motion on the rig itself, no animation on the rig itself, just the motion rather. So now it works. I spent the good part of a day doing that just so I could make this work, but now the tool that used to be very powerful is now also very simple to use, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So you will download this in FBX format and import it into Blender, and let's go do that. Okay, this is object animated. There is no skeleton. That poses a little bit of a problem. Not just because of that, but because my animation splitter wouldn't work with a retargeted rig. And there was another problem as well, but I wrote a new one to split this animation because it runs too long for Second Life to handle. And I wrote this tool not too long ago for this task, for this purpose. And the original right of it is under here. You select an action and you autofill the action after you set a time here. And I would, for this particular purpose, I would set a time of 10 seconds, I think. That seemed to work. It gives me 3 segments, but it doesn't work in this area. But I wrote a new one that's right in the interface, the animation interface here, and it's right here, split animation, and it has enough for you to do what you want. Now, a lot of assumptions are made here, but they're, I think, good ones, and should cover most situations. And if it doesn't, we'll update the tool later. But you can certainly get around most of your needs just by editing the scripts that it produces. When this splits an animation up, it also creates 2 scripts, one for animation, one for your avatar, in case you're using it as an avatar. And it does it automatically. The scripts are specific to the particular animation export and its segments. Alright, so let's start this. I don't need this piece, I've discovered, so I'll just delete. Yep. And I know that this body part controls everything else. And I also note that there's some junk underneath it. I'm not sure what that stuff does. It might be responsible for some of the motion, but I'm not absolutely certain. but I want to isolate the mesh itself. So I'm going to move it out of the way, away from that stuff. Then I'll marquee select it and put it into a different collection so I can manipulate it later. But I want to get it back to where it was before. And I know that all these are zeros here at the top. And this one I can just copy, Control C to copy that value. So I can put it back later. And then I can, what I've done here is I've used my transform. I think you can do it over here too. And I'll just slide this up out of the way of the other things, high enough where I can just box select everything, and that's what I'll do now. And then I hit the M key to move this to a new collection and give it a name, stuff, and double enter, and I created a stuff. Now I'll select the root object again, the body. I know that this is supposed to be a 0, and then I'll deposit my cursor in here, and Control V will paste my previous value. Enter. That's back. I'm going to save my work here because I've been through this a number of times and it's crashed, but it seems to be okay after I save and reload, so I'll do that. Now I'm going to no, I'm not going to select all that. I'm going to choose this collection, right click it, and select objects, and then it will only select objects underneath that hierarchy of collection. And I'm going to use my simulator tool to deposit bones into this item per object. So that's under Shapeshifter, Simulation, and we want to use the object type, which is here, and just action. And now there's a bone in every single one of those. Now the bones will be controlled by the objects that move. But we're not done yet. I need to bake the animation into the bones. So we'll do that now. But I want to make sure that my timeline is set long enough. Otherwise the bake will only happen on the end frame. And I know that I want it to be on the actual frame. Now that might be something I need to change later on so that it gets the entire animation. But it's looking for a rig animation, I think. No, it's not. I'm actually not sure. I think no, it can't do it. It has to bake the timeline because we're used to using simulations for this, not actual object animations. But it doesn't matter what it is. So yeah, I have to at least go to the end. I have to at least go to the end, which turns out to be frame 126, if I'm reading that right. I'm 626. So I'll use that, and then I will, and I know it starts at 1. So we're good there, and that's a 1. So now I'm ready to bake the motion into the rig itself. So select the rig and click Bake the Sim, and now we have an animation inside the rig itself. So pose. Now there should be some stuff here. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Those are the keys for the rig now. So now the rig is animated, but also the objects are animated. So we're getting double transform. You can see everything fly around. That's normal behavior because we're not done yet. What I need to do is first combine all these objects. So select one and let the simulator tool do it for you. Join objects, and then there's one more problem here. The object is parented to some controlling device, and if we click this off, the object itself will be transformed, and I want to show how that happens right now. I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to tick this off, which is what we need to do. But you can see that the object went all weird. We don't want that to happen, so I'm going to reload my file, And instead of taking that off, I'm going to use Blender's inversion here. Parent, where is it? Parent, clear and keep transforms. That way it clears the parent and it keeps the transform so it doesn't move. Now the bone should be manipulating the objects properly. It won't get all weird on us. Alright, that works. Now I'm going to export. Actually, I have to map this. We'll use our auto map type workflow. You'll select the rig to do this. We need to map the bones so that they're compatible with Second Life. And I know I need some distance, so I can marquee select the original bones here in the view, and I'll click action. And I also need to have access to the bones that I'll use. And in order to do that, I need to view or show all bones. Then I select all these, and the source bones are going to be from this rig, but I want to select only the safe bones, because that's quick and that's prototyping, but you can use it in production work. It works just fine as long as you have enough bones. That's why I click select safe, and you can see that some of these are a little bit different gray, and those are the selected bones. And deposit, we'll put them all here. And if you have enough, you're good, and I know that we have enough. Now the map is embedded in the rig. We can reset the stage and the map is still there. And I'm going to select the mesh and export that first. That's the common workflow. Export mapped mesh. And the other portion of this is to show you the new workflow splitting the animation up. But I want to show you the error first. And I'll let you see this window so you can see it in action. The usual workflow is to loop the animation. Well, I have to retarget first, so I'm getting ahead of myself. Character tools, retarget motion. We know that it's a custom rig. We want the bones to attach to the target. And we click action, and we're done here. Animation. We're going to export the animation from this proxy rig, and you can see it move around with the target item. And usually I'll loop the animation. It's all these details are filled in for you when you click action on the retargeter. And there's an option in there to make sure that happens. Send to animation. That's on by default. Oops. Animation now. Usually I'll loop my animation, especially for testing. Maybe not always, but for testing I usually do that. And I think that's it. We're just ready to export. But I know that this animation is too long. When I go to export it, it's going to be wrong. It's going to give me an error. But I want you to see the error. So let's do that. If you look over to the left, you'll see the process going on, and you'll notice I'm not moving my mouse, because if I do, the error window will vanish. And here's the error window right here. Too large, and you'll notice that it's 330 something K. We need to target about 250, but if we cut this in half, it's plenty. And we'll say, half of 20 is 10. That's what we have our new splitter for. I'll engage the splitter, and I'll set this to 10 seconds. And it will split my animation up into segments of 10 seconds. And whatever's left over on the last one, it just takes it that way. And it turns out to be like 26.04 seconds, or 6.04 seconds, something like that. And these options, you can click debug. Debug will insert a state value in the script so that in local it will display what's happening, and we're going to enable that right now so you can see it happen in world. You can disable or enable any of these options here that are toggles inside the script itself as you need. And with this enabled, all I need to do is click export animation, and I'll pick a folder where it will deposit a number of animations. It's nice to have an empty folder. It's going to create the animations over here, you'll see, and it's also going to create 2 scripts for you automatically that are specific for these animations. And that's the end of that. Now once you're done with, if you're going to work on your material again or save it, make sure you reset the retargeter. A lot of people don't do this. That just cleans up the area. You can, it's disposable, the rig that it produces, so you can always reset the retargeter. It's fine. So reset stage. Now let's go over the second life and see what we got. Okay, I'm going to upload the mesh first. Yeah. Now I want to tell you that if this doesn't work, use cube here. Alright, I'll just leave it that way now. Rigging, you always want joint positions on your custom rigs, otherwise the bones won't be in the right place. There's nothing wrong with doing that. If you're looking for in-world compatibility with other products, you might have a problem. Now, that's not going to look right until you do this, but even then it's not going to look exactly how you want it, and oftentimes it'll just be completely distorted. And the reason for that is because this viewer is playing a bipedal animation to represent what it thinks you want to see, and in no way do we want to see that, right? But don't worry about that. That's not what you get. I think I needed to add, let's go back for a moment. I think I needed to apply the transforms to this because it's a little bit different than I remember. I've been through this a couple of times. Let's go check that. Let's make sure that this is on the first frame and go over here. Yeah, we need to apply transforms. Apply all transforms. Now we can export this again. It'll do it right. It shouldn't be that goofed up. I mean, it could be, but I've been through this before and it wasn't like that, so I realized there was a problem. And I didn't take my own advice. I'm just gonna clear this. It should just reload the same file. If it doesn't, I mean, it's probably not a good idea to do this. I shouldn't be teaching people how to do this. But for an expert workflow, you want to get this done quick, go ahead and try that. And we'll click cube. It's a safe thing to do. And you should notice that this is a lot different. There probably will be some defect, but again, that's because it's trying to show you what it thinks you want to see. So don't rely on it, but I relied on it for the change only. I knew it was wrong because it looked different than my test earlier today. That kind of looks the same, doesn't it? Alright, we're just going to go with this for now. I don't like that. We're just going to go with it for now. But we still did the right thing. Apply transforms. You need to do that. Alright. I'm going to create my anchor. Choose this, then choose the anchor last. That becomes the root. Link it. And I want to turn on the animesh thing to see if there's anything weird about it. If this is distorted right now, we did something wrong. This should never be distorted now. It should just be taking on no animation. The rig is not going to affect it. It actually controls the position of the rig bones. So it should be right. Now we're going to go get our animations. Oops, we don't want to do that. We want to upload in bulk because we have a few of them. And I know I stored them in here. So I will choose one, shift, choose the last one, and now they all populate this line here. Yes, I want all those. I'm going to drop these into the animesh object here. Select them all, choose one, shift, select the last one, drop it in. And I don't want to do this. I don't want to use one of these. These aren't going to work for all of them. I want to go get my animesh exported script file that tool produced for me. And well, you can't actually upload it this way. I use this tool as a means to locate it and copy the contents of the file. It's just a quick workflow. So I'm going to create a new script, alright, and I'm going to open up that script, and I'll select everything and delete. Then I will go bulk, and I'm back in my what my animations are, but I'm not going to upload anything. I'm just going to use this as a locator. Now I want the animesh, because that's what we're doing. Right click, and I'm opening this document. I will select all, and I will copy, and then I'm done with it. Close it, say cancel. Now I can just paste it here. Right click and paste and save, and I'm done with that script. Alright, now it's often a good idea to shift drag to reset your animations and rigs on an animesh. The one that's left behind is the copy and the clean one. Now I delete the one that I dragged, and all I have to do is click on this and see what I get. Over here you should see what's playing as it cycles through. Now after this is done, we've tested this, I'm gonna go back and adjust the animation a little bit and retarget. Alright, you see these. Alright, see how it jumped back down real fast? We want that to be a little bit more smooth. So let's go do that. So I'll select my rig, and I want to go into pose, select all the bones, and then I can see that I have all of these. And I need space in order to smooth this out. So I want to bring my animation to 650, I think. I'll bring it to 650. So I need to adjust the end here, 650. And I want to copy the first key set all the way to 650. So I'm gonna do that, and I will select something in here. I can't see it, but I know it's selected, and I'll hit my dot key to center that in the view. I'm not sure it worked. Let's try again. Yeah, that worked. Now when I oops, I don't want to scale. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, see, I selected the wrong key. It's not easy to see. I want to select the first key here and shift D to duplicate it. Now I'm going to drag it back a couple of frames. That's not where I want to go, but I want to get it away from those, because I can't actually drag it all the way over there. If I drop it on one of these keys, it'll delete the other keys, and I don't want to do that. So even though I can't really see it very well, or I might not even be able to see it at all, I can still move it by hitting the G key, dragging it all the way over here, anywhere I want. Then refocus my view. Then I know where I can drop it. So move it again, and I'll drop it right on 650 there. And we should get a smooth transition at the end of our, something smoother anyway. I'll just play that to see. So it's not bad. Alright, we'll retarget and export that. And we just need the animation. We don't need anything else. So, character tools, custom is already enabled. Action, animation, all of our features are set. Just export and we're good. Bulk export. It'll overwrite the other stuff. That's done. Now back to Second Life again. Okay, I'm gonna remove these old animations, and I'll stop my animation on there. I'll upload the new ones. Oops, that's not what I want. I want bulk. Yes. I'm going to clear out. Actually, I'll just delete it. I'm going to delete this script here. I'll do it over. Delete everything in here, actually. Drop in the animations. Go to bulk again, right? Oh, that didn't work. That's fine. I'll go back to it. Right click so I can open it. Select everything and copy it. And we're done here. We don't actually upload anything. And let's go drop our other two scripts in there. Animations. Now make a new script. Double click. Select all, delete, paste our new one, and save it. Alright. Now again, remember we want to shift drag to clear out anything that was in there. Delete that, and we should be okay. You can get rid of these debug messages by disabling the debug button before you export, or you can just go right back into the script and turn it to false. It's up to you how you do it, but it'll be easier to edit the script. But if you're allergic to scripts, that's the way to go. Use the buttons in Bento Buddy. Isn't that neat? All this, many things work. Alright. I'm going to make this copy available for people to download. Come on and join our Discord group, Bento Buddy. It'll be posted in the description. And enjoy.